use headphones for best experience. Thanks for your fantastic support. Hi, welcome to another video. First, I just want to remind you and tell you that I have my content on audio streaming platforms as well. Like Spotify, Apple Music, and yeah, quite a lot of albums now, so you can listen to my content audio only, and I will upload more to these platforms as well. Today I would like to draw a map of Canada. I have done this once before on this channel, very early video drawing the map of Canada. But for a long time now I have planned to give it another try, just like I did with the United States, because I know my channel has a lot of viewers from Canada, all since the beginning actually. So yeah, let's start. And as usual I will start with the loose sketching, just to get the basic shape of this country. It's quite complicated shape, I think. Most northern part here. The most southern part here. Geographically, I think it's a lot of separate parts, really. Different areas, different types of landscapes as well. It's a very large, vast country. But a very central part of it. The shape is, of course, the Hudson Bay. I've heard that it could be the largest bay in the world, probably. I'm not sure. And the terrestrial border to all terrestrial border, Canada's terrestrial border is to one country, one other country, and that's the US. And I've heard it's the longest terrestrial border between two countries in the world. I guess this will take a while because it's a lot of details in Canada's map, especially here in the archipelago to the north. So I'd better do some accurate sketching before I start with the markers. Asmr Island, northernmost island, Canada. The northern tip is very close to the North Pole. Here we have Greenland. And of course, maps of Canada can look very different from each other because it depends on the projection you're using, since everything is so close to the North Pole here, a lot of details close to the North Pole, so sometimes it's more stretched out here to the south, or a more straight line here, and sometimes it's more stretched out here to the north. I don't know, but I've chosen a projection that I think shows the country quite nice, with a slightly curved line here along the parallel here. So it's on a US map usually this line is straight horizontal line, but on this map it will be a bit curved like this. What parallel is it now? Is it the 49th parallel? The border between the United States and Canada. But I think I have most of the important features here. Yeah, this big island here. Baffin Island. Okay, now I would like to start to draw some coast. It's a lot of coast. There are 3 oceans. In 3 different directions here. We have the Arctic Ocean to the north. And this archipelago. Hudson Bay, and this is another smaller bay, James Bay. Hudson Strait, Ungava Bay. Here we have Labrador. Gulf of St. Lawrence and St. Lawrence River. Lake Erie to the south. So here we have the Great Lake. Lake Huron. You can see Michigan, the US. Sioux Locks, I guess, are located here. And this is the biggest lake in Canada, if you count that it's shared by the US. It's Lake Superior. Then we have the next coastline here. western coast, Graham Island, and this big island here, Vancouver Island. And the Pacific Ocean here, and yeah, I mentioned the Arctic Ocean here to the north. And here there are a lot of bays, Baffin Bay, Labrador Sea, and here we have the Atlantic Ocean, the Atlantic coast. And let's continue here to the east. We have Newfoundland, to the very east, Il Tanticosti, the eastern shore of St. Lawrence River, and New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, here's the US, the New England part of the US. Not super big island here, but it's actually its own province. And here's another island, part of Nova Scotia. Now, we have to the very north Queen Elizabeth's Islands archipelago. Axel Heiberg Island and the Ellesmere Island. And an island called Melville Island, split in the middle between Northwest Territories and Nunavut Territory, and Banks Island, and then Baffin Island here. Southampton Island. I'm gonna draw the coast of Greenland as well here. So you can see the entire shape of Baffin Bay, Davis Strait there. So this is the western coast of this huge island, Greenland. And I can show you part of US Pacific. super detailed, but yeah. So just a couple of rivers I would like to add, and some lakes. For example, need more space here for the Northwest Territories. I see. We have a river called Mackenzie River. I think it's the longest river. Or you can also count the rivers that is not exclusively located in Canada. For example, Yukon River in Alaska, US. It starts in Canada here. We have also Columbia River, shared by the US. So I think Yukon River could be longer than Mackenzie River, but the longest river exclusively in Canada is Mackenzie River. And we have a big lake here called the Great Slave Lake. And here we have the Mackenzie River. And here we have the second, maybe the second largest lake. Canada, not sure. Great Bear Lake. But yeah, if you count the lakes that are shared with the US, Lake Superior is the largest. Yukon River starts here in northern British Columbia. And Columbia River also starts in British Columbia. And then we have a long river here in the Great Plains, the prairies, and that's Saskatchewan River. That I guess could have named this province here, Saskatchewan. Here we have a big lake in Manitoba. Lake Winnipeg. And here we have Nelson River between Lake Winnipeg or Saskatchewan River and the Hudson Bay. And we have a river here as well in northern Alberta, from starting also in British Columbia. A lot of rivers start here because this is the mountainous area of Canada, the Rocky Mountains. It's the Peace River. and a small, not at all small, but it's a lake between Alberta and Saskatchewan, shared by those two provinces. That's Lake Athabasca. And this looks a bit weird, so I think I will actually draw the entire coast here. Or at least this part of the coast. The Bering Strait, here we have Russia, Arctic Ocean, Beaufort Sea, this part of the sea. I think it's time to zoom in a bit. And I will add some features to this map. And I think I'll start with the provinces and territories of Canada. So the political divisions. Maybe a light red color will do. And of course, I forgot I haven't drawn the terrestrial border. Of course, we'll start with that. So here's the border between Alaska in the US and Canada. And the rest of the US and Canada share this border. Follows the 49th parallel quite well. Here it happened something in Ontario. It goes right through Lake Superior. And through the Sioux Locks. Right through Lake Huron. All the way to Windsor here, Lake Erie, right through Lake Erie, and here very close to Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls are here. Are Niagara Falls shared by US and Canada? I'm not sure. I think it's entirely in Canada, but I'm absolutely not sure. And Lake Ontario we have here. And the border follows St. Lawrence River for a while and then turns to the east. So we have Canada on both sides of the river. This must be Massachusetts. No. Totally wrong. This is Maine, of course, in the US, New England. And yeah. So I'll also show you that the border between Canada and Denmark goes here, because Greenland is not part of Canada. Now to the provinces, and since I drew the line, the national border, terrestrial border of Canada, in this red color, I will choose another color for this province divisions border. I will choose this white color. So we have a border between the three territories to the very north, and the provinces to the west, southwest of Canada, also following a parallel here. And if I start with the territories, we have Yukon. Yukon, the least populated territory, I think. To the west, and Northwest Territory. Northwest Territory used to be the rest of the northern area until 1999. But then it was divided into, well, I'm not sure it was called Northwest Territories by then, because it should maybe be called North Territories or something. I haven't checked that, but anyway, it was the same territory, and in 1999 it was split into Northwest Territories and Nunavut. So Nunavut is the latest added political division in Canada. And Victoria Island is shared by these two territories. Also Melville Island is shared. And in reality this is a totally straight line. So let's continue with British Columbia. The Rocky Mountains. three prairie provinces of Canada. Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. Now we reach the most populous area of Canada, southern part, southeastern part. The most urban area, or the area where it's most urban part of Canada is here, along the St. Lawrence River, Quebec and Ontario. So we have the border between Ontario and Quebec. And Quebec and this province here to the east, Newfoundland and Labrador. This is the island Newfoundland, and this is Labrador. But if you look on population, I guess it's biggest part of the population are located. I mean, this is the most inhabited area, the Newfoundland part of it. Newfoundland and Labrador has its own time zone. It's half an hour different from the other time zone that's here. And it's also the latest province added or incorporated into Canada. And it's very interesting because Newfoundland was actually its own country between 1907 and 1934. So it was a self-governing British dominion, to be more exact. And then after that it was a dependent territory of the UK. And then in 1949, from that point it was considered a province of Canada. So it's the latest province. None of it is the latest territory, but the last new province is Newfoundland and Labrador. Actually, there is a small French island here as well. I can show you. Saint-Pierre and Miquelon. So it's not part of Canada. I think I will continue to draw the province borders in the water here as well. So you can see that Newfoundland Island is part of this province. And that Prince Edward Island, this island here, is its own province. So now we're in the Maritimes. Interesting region of Canada. So we have Nova Scotia, this peninsula and this island here. Prince Edward Island and New Brunswick. Historically, this was a French colony called Acadia. It was a colony of New France between 1604 and 1713. The capital of that colony was Port Royal, located here by this bay. And today New Brunswick is actually officially bilingual, both French and English as official languages. So it has a lot of history still. You can see the history of the French period of Canada here. But then we also have Quebec, the French speaking province, with French as the only official language, I think. And I think I have all the borders now between provinces, territories, except if I should be consequent here, I should also draw the border between the provinces and Nunavut territory. Like that. Now let's take a look at the entire map. Now I want to add some cities. The capital cities of each political divisions, for example. You can start with Victoria on Vancouver Island. It's the capital of British Columbia. Then we have Edmonton by the Saskatchewan River. It's the capital of Alberta. In Saskatchewan we have the capital Regina. And in Manitoba, south of Lake Winnipeg, we have the capital Winnipeg. In Ontario we have I'll have to check now, because is Ottawa both the capital of Ontario and the entire Canada, or is Toronto capital of Ontario. Yeah, Ontario's provincial capital is Toronto, actually. Located by Lake Ontario. But also in Ontario we have Canada's capital. I draw a square, try to make it a bit different. Square shape here. And in Quebec we have the province capital, Quebec City. In New Brunswick we have Fredericton, capital. In Nova Scotia we have Halifax by the eastern coast. Remember, Port Royal was located in the western coast. In Prince Edward Island we have Charlottetown. In Newfoundland and Labrador we have St. John's. This peninsula here to the very east. It should be 10 provinces. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 3 territories. Then we have in Yukon, the capital Whitehorse, and in Northwest Territories, by the Great Slave Lake, we have Yellowknife, and in Nunavut, on the island, Baffin Island, we have the capital Iqaluit. I would like to add some more towns, cities, and just features that I read a bit about and found interesting. For example, those provinces that don't have their biggest city as their capital city, then I want to show you also the biggest city. And in British Columbia we have Vancouver. Here. On the other side of this strait between Vancouver Island and mainland. Very close to the US border. And in Alberta we have Calgary, located here somewhere. In Saskatchewan we have Saskatoon. Biggest city. In Quebec we have Montreal, also by St. Lawrence River. The biggest city of Quebec. And I think the rest of the capitals are also the biggest cities or towns. territory. Now let's see. Could be nice to just include the highest mountain of Canada. It's located so close to Alaska, just here, this corner of Yukon, the southwestern corner. Mount Logan, almost 6,000 meters tall. And yeah, I would like to include the northernmost inhabited place on Earth. It's here on the northern tip of Ellesmere Island, called Alert. I'll try to use this white marker instead. For Mount Logan as well. And there are also some national park. It would be nice to include. Use this green color for national parks. So in Alberta we have a big national park called Wood Buffalo, located here north of the Peace River, to the very north of Alberta. There are a lot of national parks in Alberta. We also have the Banff National Park here in the mountains, where there are like glacial lakes. And we have Jasper National Park. And here in Northwest Territories, the Mackenzie Mountains, northern parts of Rocky Mountains, we have Nahanni National Park Reserve. I'll show you one national park to the east as well. We have Thousand Islands National Park in Ontario. Close to Ottawa. I would like to talk a bit about the physical geography of Canada, like the climate regions and such things. So, as I mentioned a lot of times already, we have the mountainous area here, the Rocky Mountains to the west. So British Columbia is a really mountainous province. We have Mackenzie Mountains, northern parts of it here, the Coast Mountains, Columbia Mountains, and maybe I can draw some mountain tops just to show you that. And also you can see the rivers have their sources in this area. And then we have the prairies. The prairies provinces are Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. But it's also the forested part. There's a lot of forests here, boreal forests. So I think Alberta have most of the prairie shrubland landscape. But then we have like the forest coming here, Saskatchewan, and a big part of Manitoba is forested, and prairies only to the south. So we have Ontario, also forests, I guess, all around Hudson Bay. It's a lot of forests, coniferous forest. And to the north, in almost the entire Nunavut, northern Quebec, northern Labrador, also Northwest Territories, we have the Arctic, the polar climate. No trees, I guess. And we have the oceanic climate, temperate, in the very western part here, Vancouver Island. Like, you know, the temperate oceanic climate, just like in France or a lot of other places. And then we have the humid continental climate, a large part of Canada, like this. And the subarctic or subpolar, polar, like this. Yeah, I can also mention some of the indigenous groups in Canada. There are a lot of indigenous peoples here, different groups. They can be divided into three main groups. The First Nations, the Métis, and the Inuits. The Inuits inhabit mostly this area, traditionally. And the Métis, of mixed European and First Nation ancestry, I guess, are all over Canada, but I think a lot of them are here historically. And some of the groups of the First Nations people, the largest groups are the Cree people, mostly around the prairies area here and along the Hudson Bay, also in Quebec. The traditional Cree areas. And the Ojibwe people have traditionally inhabited the southern parts here, Ontario, Quebec, also into Manitoba and Saskatchewan, also big parts of northern US. I mentioned them actually in my Michigan video a while ago. And they have their own writing system, also the Inuktitut language spoken here with their own writing system. So yeah, I think the Ojibwe is a really big group, but half of them approximately are in the US. So in Canada, I think the Cree group is bigger, and then second comes the Ojibwe. Another group is the Dene group, concentrated around this area historically, around the Great Slave Lake. The Slavey people is actually part of the Dene people. So the Great Slave Lake is named after the Slavey people. And yeah. Also, I would like to mention some sea routes through Canada, because I think it's really interesting. For example, the Northwest Passage. That had been, for a long time, they had been looking for a way to travel by boat from Europe to Asia. To take this shortcut through northern Canada. And the first person who did this, completed this passage, was the Norwegian Roald Amundsen. Completed this between 1903 and 1906. So the Northwest Passage goes here through Baffin Bay and through Lancaster Sound, between Baffin Island and Devon Island here. And then it goes either straight like this through Prince of Wales Strait, that's between Victoria Island and Banks Island, and then follows the northern coast here, the Arctic Ocean, to Bering Strait. And another route goes more to the south here, like this, south of Victoria Island. So that's the Northwest Passage. Also, I find it very interesting, the Viking voyages. More than 1,000 years ago, the first Europeans who discovered the American continent, as we know, were the Vikings. So Eric the Red from Iceland, he made a journey from Iceland here, followed the western coast of Greenland and then over Davis Strait and found the American coast here, Labrador. And here we have a Viking settlement on Newfoundland. This peninsula here, it's called Lawns or Meadows, this place. So here they have found remains of a Viking settlement, but they didn't stay here very long because of the harsh conditions, only 2 years. Today you can go on a Viking trail here, this peninsula, to follow the Vikings' footsteps. And they think that Newfoundland is what the Vikings called Vinland, the mysterious land in the west, Vinland. I think I will add some crayon now to show you where the water is on this map, because it's very messy because of the islands and you can't really see what's land and what's water. So add to some pattern in the water. By the way, on this peninsula here, the Cape Breton Island, northern island of Nova Scotia, we have the Cabot Trail, very scenic highway that goes here around this peninsula. And Nova Scotia, as you can hear in the name, was actually a Scottish colony at one point. There are not many places and towns around the coast of Hudson Bay. But it's one town here called Churchill in Manitoba. It's not many settlements here at all. There's a lot of lakes, and the nature prevent you from building big cities or roads or things like that. But yeah, one settlement is Churchill. And for example, to Nunavut. Nunavut is the only division of Canada where no road actually leads to. So you have to go to Nunavut by either plane or boat. Yeah, I forgot to mention there's actually a desert, true desert in Canada, and it's here, southern British Columbia. So Okanagan Desert, semi-arid shrubland. Here we have some arid steppe climate as well. Alberta, Saskatchewan. else I wanted to add. Now, yeah, I think that's it. That's my map of Canada. Yeah, Canada was independent from the UK in 1867. So it was a British colony before that. I think it started, the name Canada started here, Quebec area. So in 1867 the province of Canada, I think here somewhere, was joined with two other British colonies. The colonies New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, through confederation and forming a self-governing entity. And the last thing I would like to do, I have no idea if this is a good idea, but I would like to sing the national hymn from Canada, because I think it's quite good, the melody. Actually, a while ago, I think 2 years ago, I had an idea. I wanted to sing national hymns from around the world, and I was doing some research about it, and I enjoyed it quite a lot. For some reason, I like the idea that all the countries have their own official song, and I did record some footage, but then I thought that it might not be a very good idea. I was a bit embarrassed over the whole thing, because I don't know the history behind these hymns and what they were used for when they were written, what they are used for today. It can be very, in some cases I think it can be very sensitive to use them in wrong context, because they are symbols for so much, especially if there's a conflict between countries. It can be really nationalistic, and it can, I guess, offend a lot of people, or it can be, if you don't use it in the right context. So even though part of me want to read more and learn more about the national hymns, but part of me says that no, maybe I will not do that. But I also have an old wish of including more humming and singing in my videos sometimes, even though I know it's not super popular, but sometimes I get requests to do more of that. I did a bit more of that in the beginning, my earlier videos. But anyway, ever since I learned or read about the national hymns, every time now when I hear Canada, I just see something about Canada, I always get "Oh Canada" in my head. I hear it because for some reason I found that song very, it just stick to my head. So for some reason I like it, I guess. So the last thing I'd like to do is to sing to you the national hymn of Canada. And sorry if this is like cringy or something like that, but I'll just try to do it now. And I will do it very quiet, try to do it in an ASMR kind of way. Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, terre de nos aïeux, ton front est ceint de fleurs glorieux, car ton bras s'est porté l'épée, il s'est porté la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée, tes plus brillants exploits et ta valeur de foi trempée protégera nos foyers et nos droits, protégera nos foyers et nos droits. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, that you found it relaxing. Sleep well, take care, and stay safe.